Today I'm going to walk you through how to register a case from start to finish, and this is from a heat worker perspective. So right now we're in the worker home page. So after you log in with your credentials, it'll bring you to the worker home. I'm actually under my own profile today, and so this is what it looks like. The first thing you want to do is click on New Energy Assistance Case. And then you want to register the PI first, the primary individual or the primary applicant. And so you'll want to cut and paste or get wherever you're getting the information from, whether it's a paper application or the person is sitting in front of you, you want to gather that information and put their social security number in here. Make sure that you remove all the dashes, and then you can press enter. And then if the person is known to the system, then their information will pop up down here. And then you'll just want to double check that it's the person you're looking for. So the first name and last name are correct, the birthday is correct. And then you'll want to click on use this PID. And then from this screen, you want to pay attention to marital status, which is never married, because you're going to use this piece of information on the next screen. You'll also want to just pay attention to the address here and just make sure, take a look at your application and look at the address that's listed here to make sure that they match. If they don't, then make a mental note to update the address when you get to that point. I'm looking at the address from the application or from Steelworks because that's what I'm using for training. And the address is correct. So now you want to click on register with new eRep case number. And then it'll bring you here to the household member evidence screen. So if you've watched all the other videos, and you should be familiar with where I am right now. And so this is the household member evidence screen. You'll need to fill this out for each household member. So this case is only a single person household. And so it's just this person. So the marital status from the previous screen is never married. And then you'll see that the citizenship status is already pre-populated for me. That tells me that the system has already verified that this person is a US citizen. And source data tells me that it's the system verification. Okay, if he was not a US citizen, then this part would not be pre-populated. It would give you a drop-down list to choose an option. And at that point, you would want to put not a US citizen, because then we would know that he wasn't, because it wasn't generated by the system. We have an interface with Social Security that will tell you whether someone is a citizen or not based on their Social Security number. And then that's all the information you want to fill out on this screen. You just scroll down to the bottom. Your date of change is always your date of application. So today, we're treating today like our date of application. And so go ahead and put your other dates in. So date reported can be the same date as the day that you're filling this out. Again, same date, the date verified, same thing. Date of change is probably the most important date to remember, that it always has to be the date of application, okay? And then click save. And then it shows you that your evidence now is a work in progress. The next thing you want to do is fill in the next three evidence sections on the vertical toolbar here. If it's a single person household, you do not need to do household relationship. So we're going to skip that one. If you have more than one person in your household, then you do have to do household relationship. And then you also, for every person in the household, you'll have to add them here. So add new household member. If I do that, it'll bring you back to this search screen where you can put their social in and follow the same steps that I just showed you. But since this is a single person household, we're just going to go back. I don't need to add anyone else. Again, household relationship, single person, don't need it. Living arrangement, you go into there, click on new living arrangement, highlight the person that the person in the home. So this is a single person household. If there are multiple people, you want to highlight all their names to make sure they're captured here. And then go to arrangement type, click on at home, and that's all you need to do here. Put in your date of change as the date of application. Same dates for date reported, date verified. Click save. Now you can see that your evidence is here. Last required field, evidence field on this section is Utah residency. So click on that, click add new Utah residency, select all. So if there were multiple people here, the select all button would capture everyone. Again, start date. Oh, for the start date for Utah residency, just a rule of thumb to choose the first date of the date of application. So since they're applying in September to September 24th, I'm just going to put the 1st of September. If it was August, I would have put the 1st of August. So, and then click save. If you go to the sitemap, you'll see that the 3 sections that needed to be filled out are filled out. If there were more than one person, if there was more than one person in the household and you did household relationship, there would also be a triangle next to this section here. So, all right, so again, you have pending evidence here that we haven't applied yet, which is okay. Right now, we're going to go back to the case home, and we are going to click on new program. The new program, you'll do choose heat from the drop-down list. Application date is today, and then create program. Sometimes this part takes a few seconds, so you just have to be a little patient while it's creating the program behind the scenes. All right, so now we're back to the case home, and we can see now that the program has been created. Now you'll want to go to the evidence, and you'll want to gather the heat information or energy assistance information from the application or from the client. So you can either click here or come down and click here. It'll take you to the same place. So go to heat crisis evidence. And then click on add new heat crisis. And then this is where you will fill in all of the information for the household energy assistance needs. So I'm just going to go back to my application, make sure I have everything. All right, so this person lives in an apartment, rents, main heating source is electricity, secondary heating source is electricity, and then they're saying primary cooling source is window unit. Rent is $565 and it's not subsidized. So I'm going to put that information in real quick. Keyboard's not working. Okay. And then dwelling is apartment, primary is electricity, secondary is electricity, primary unit is window. And then I'm going to use collateral contact for this one. Just a mental note, don't do pending or client statement for any of these verifications. It will not allow you to process your benefits if you do. So just pick one of these. Collateral contact will work since you're getting it from the customer. Okay. All right. And then again, mental note, the supervisor approval. If you're a worker, you won't be able to click on this button here. This is for editors and supervisors. And then this other question here, does client face an event beyond their control? This is a crisis question, and so you don't need to touch it. The next area, add payment details. Does your rent include utilities? He says no on the application. And then he wants 100% of it to go to Rocky Mountain Power. So let me get his account number. Rocky Mountain Power. Account status is in good standing. 100%, he wants 100% to go there. Then your account verification, I'm going to make like I received a hard copy of his bill. Okay. And then you want to choose the account member case participant. If there were multiple people in the household, you want to choose who the utility account belongs to. In this case, it's Kenny. If the utility account was not in Kenny's name, then you would want to put the full name of the person who does own the utility account and what their relationship is to the PI. You can put the relationship here, or you can put it in the notes as to what the relationship is. And then once you have all that information in there, you can click Add Record. Just a quick thing again. So amount owed and obligated amount, these are crisis fields. So you do not have to do that or fill those in when it's a heat application only. So click on Add Record. Now you'll see all the information you needed is populated down here. Put in your date of change, which is application date again, data reported, and date verified today. Click on Save. Now your heat evidence is in there. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is you want to go back to the case home, and you want to click on eVerifs. You want to do an eVerifs check. All right, so now you'll see that there's a new eVerif search for new program. When you see the eVerif search for new program, that means that the system has automatically run this person's social against all of the interfaces that we have. And so if you click on new program, it'll anything that bounced back with the social will show up here. So as we learned in the eVerifs training, anything motor vehicle you don't have to pay attention to. It has nothing to do with our program, so you can skip it. Worker compensation, I'm gonna see what that is, if it's anything recent. Nope, it's old, so I'm not gonna worry about that. Qualifying quarters is another area that you don't have to worry about. It has nothing to do with us, and it doesn't have anything to do with our eligibility, so you can skip qualifying quarters. New hire, I'm gonna see what's in there. Looks like he had a new hire for Bed Bath & Beyond back in September of last year. And so maybe something you want to pay attention to, maybe not. On this particular application, he states that he does not have any income. So might be something to keep in the back of your mind. And then the next one is unemployment. All right, so it looks like he received a benefit payment back in February, the last week of February. It even tells you. Let's see. Oh no, he didn't receive a payment. He applied. But if he had received a payment, it would have showed a payment amount here. And so it looks like he's eligible. So he was found eligible, but he didn't receive a payment. I'm assuming it's because he started working. So let's see if my theory is correct. Let's look at the other fields. So ORS, you want to click on that. There's no children in the home, so I don't expect to see an IVDS case open. But we do see TPL, which I talked about in another training video. TPL is third-party liability, has nothing to do with us. It's for Medicaid, so disregard that. Then under wages, looks like there's some information there. Let's click and see what's in there. So it does show us that he was working for Overstock in the first quarter or second quarter of this year. At least he got wages from Overstock in the second quarter. So second quarter would have been April, May, June. So first quarter is January, February, March. Second quarter is April, May, June. So that tells me that he was working with Overstock in April, May, and June. And then it looks like he received some wages from Bed Bath & Beyond in the first quarter of the year, which was January, February, March. So this is interesting because in the application in SealWorks, he applied back in April of this year, of 2020. So his eligibility month would have been March. And so because he, I can see now that he had wages back in the first quarter, that I would have questioned whether or not he was still working for Bed Bath & Beyond. The tricky part is the quarterly wage data isn't updated. It's always like a quarter behind, so you usually won't see it real time. But one indicator, if we close this and go back to wages, new hire, for Bed Bath & Beyond, I would, since it was close, this hire date was in September. He applied in April. He's claiming no income. I would have questioned whether he was still working for Bed Bath & Beyond. So that's what I would have done, just because the hire date and the date of application were so close together. So I would have made a phone call or sent like an employer verification form, you know, either getting a statement that he no longer works there, or making a call to the company to verify. That's probably what I would have done. But what really happened in this application is they submitted a deficit statement. So there's zero income on this case. And we took the deficit statement as verification for that. All right, and then the last thing we see here in the eVerifs is Social Security. So I'm gonna click on that. It looks like he applied for SSDI at one point and was denied the disability claim. And so there's really nothing to post here, and there's nothing auto-posted either. So that's just good FYI information. But there's nothing else to post in this case. Okay, so we're just going to close that out. There really is no evidence to post. I'm going to go back to the case home and go to evidence. There's really nothing else to put on this case because of the income deficit statement that he provided. And then also there's nowhere to put like that there was an income deficit statement received except for in the notes. And so we'll make sure to put that in the notes. So now I'm coming back to the evidence screen because I want to apply my changes now. Now that I know the application tells me there's no income on the case, there's really nothing in eVerifs except for the new hire data, which I would have requested. But for training purposes, we're just going to move on and pretend like there's no income on this case. So you'll come back here to the evidence screen, apply your changes. Just click on the top button. It'll check mark everything. Click on apply changes. And now all these check marks verify that all of these evidences have been applied to the case. If you wanted to double check and make sure before you process the benefits, you could go back into the heat evidence, make sure that everything you put in there is accurate before the editor gets to it, because the editor will check all of this as well. So this looks good to me. I'm going to close it out. Now I want to go back to the case home, and I want to click on heat, and I want to click on process. Oh, check eligibility. Skipping a step. Check eligibility. So, and then you want to click on program start date, check eligibility. And it tells me here that the person is eligible and the payment's going to be made to Rocky Mountain Power for $550. So if we look at view decision detail, it'll give you the breakdown of why that is. Zero income in the household. He doesn't meet any target groups, so the max amount you can receive without meeting a target group is $550. So that is exactly what he's getting. And then again, it shows you down here a breakdown of the household information, and then also who the payee is. So in this case, it's Rocky Mountain Power. So it's also another way to double check. And that looks all good to me. So I'll close that out. If I, let me go back in here real quick. If I had the customer sitting across from me face to face, then this is where you would come and click on view PDF. Since you don't have a paper application, they're not filling one out, you're just taking information as you're interviewing them. You can print out this 2-page document, have them verify all the information is correct, and then sign it. Sign and date it, and this would be your verification or signature page. And then you would upload that into Content Navigator. So let's close this out. Close this out as well. And go back to the program home. And now that I've checked eligibility, everything looks good. I'm going to go ahead and process benefits. Click on that little checkbox, save. And then it gives you a chance to check it one more time before you click accept. One thing, let me see if it'll let me go back. Oh, it won't let me go back. So now you'll see that the status is on hold until an editor can go in and actually approve the case after they do the review. So it's on hold right now. So a couple of things that I'll show you. If you go to the case home and you go to notices, Okay, no notices are generated. So no notices are generated until the approval is actually in there. So that's good to know. Let's make sure that there are no verifications pending. So nothing in verifications either. Um, I'm just clicking on tasks that are associated with this case. And it's just telling you this task is a system generated task, and it tells you under priority if it is system generated. And it's just saying that there is an automated eVerif search completed. And so if you click on the task ID, it tells you that the eVerif search was completed, that action is required. So we actually already addressed the eVerif search when we clicked on new program and looked through all the components. And so with this particular task, most system generated tasks, you should be okay to just, what did I do? You should be okay to just delete them, and I'll show you how to do that. So if you go back into tasks, all you do is click on the task that you want to close out, because you don't really need to do anything with it. What you have to do is reserve it first, and then click next to it, and then close task here. And that's it. And there is a way for your supervisor to go back and see if tasks were just closed without being acted on. So just make sure that you're taking action where it's needed. The system, again, check all your system generated ones, just make sure that there really isn't any action needed. But anytime that someone sets a task for you, or there's an auto task generated because, let's say, the application was rejected by the editor, the priority will no longer say system, it'll say high priority. And so those ones you'll definitely want to go in, take action, and then make a note, okay? All right, so at this point, I want to go into notes, and I want to create a new note. And for the subject, I'll say application. And then I'll say processed benefits for application, single person household. Let's see, single person household, no income, income deficit statement, received, payee is RMP, app on hold for editor review, or whatever. I'm sure there's other things that you guys put on your notes, especially things that are particular to the case that an editor should know about, maybe reasons as to why you did a certain action in the case. And then also anything that would cause a reviewer to question an action that was taken on the case. And so that would be me or my staff when we come in and do case file reviews. We'll want to make sure that you're documenting everything in the notes. So again, you have unlimited notes, unlimited characters in your notes. So make sure that we're documenting everything that you're doing in the case. So that's my note for this case. And now you'll see that the note is here. The subject is under application. So now it's just waiting on hold for the editor to come in and approve it. So that's basically what it is when it's an easy case like that, where they're, zero income. We just process the benefits, and hopefully it passes through the editor review, and then the customer gets their benefits. Now, when it's a case where you have to, where it's been rejected by the editor, or let's say they're denied, you have to deny it as a worker. I have another video where I show you what happens when you deny a case as a worker, the step-by-step process on what to do. So go back and review that video. I believe it is, let's see. I believe that video is titled Heat Worker Processing Benefits. Okay, so and it'll be towards the end of that video. It's only a 16-minute video, so it's not that long. But if you go to the end of that heat worker processing benefits video. It'll show you step by step what to do when you deny a case. For whatever reason, the household isn't eligible, you still go through the process of processing benefits, let the system close it, and then it tells you what to do to be able to alert your supervisor that you denied a case. Um, so because I'm showing you from start to finish, I think what I will do is show you again how to do that. So if this is repetitive, you don't have to watch this part, but if you have a case, so let me see another case. Let's try this one. Okay, so this one is in receive status. All right, so let's take this case. Actually, let's go to the evidence. All right, looks like all the evidence is there. It looks like it's also a single person household, so this is easy. So we'll click on the program and we'll click on check eligibility. All right, so this is telling me that it's pending some unearned income information. So let's close this out. Let's go back to our evidence and see what's pending on unearned income. Okay, so it looks like we posted some annuity income here and the verification is pending. So let's go in and fix that. I'm gonna pretend like I got the information from the customer, and let's say it's hard copy, and we save. Oh, date verified, that's right. Gotta put the date verified and then save. Okay, so now we want to apply our changes. All right, so now you'll see that that verification is no longer pending. It's a hard copy now. So we should be okay. Let me go back to the case home, go to the program home, check eligibility. Everything should be good now unless he's over income. Okay, so this one does show that he's eligible and for the amounts. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some more income so that it fails this case. So I can show you again. So let's add some more unearned income. Let's actually change this annuity amount. Let's make it 2,000 instead. Okay. Okay, so that should actually, oops, did that change it? Let's see. Okay, it did not change it. Let me see. Oh, sorry. I actually have to delete this record first and then put the new amount in and also the amount down here. I'm gonna say received it on the first. Click on add record. Now we save. So if you're rushing, that might happen. Just make sure that you're doing things accurately. So with that case, I actually had to delete the record and add the new record. So I changed it from 200 to 2,000. I'm gonna go back to the heat program home, check eligibility. Okay, so now it shows you that the member is ineligible and for the reason that the income exceeds limits, which is exactly what I wanted. Okay, so at this point, you can look at the view decision detail and kind of figure out what happened and whatnot, but I already know what happened, so I just know he's over income. So at this point, what you'll want to do is go back to the program home. You've already checked eligibility, you know he's going to get denied, but you still want to click on process benefits, okay? So let's go ahead and click on process benefits. For heat only. Disregard crisis for now. We'll talk about crisis later. All right, so here on the summary information, it'll tell you that the status is denied, and that's exactly what we want. So go ahead and accept it. Okay, so now you'll see that the heat program has been denied and the closure is they're not eligible. Um, and so there is no like auto task or prompt for the editor to go in and check these. Like it doesn't even pop up on the on hold program list like it did for the approvals. And so what you want to do is you want to create a manual task. This is really important. So anytime you deny a case, you want to go to tasks. So another important thing too is making sure that you are clicking on tasks from the case home. Make sure you're on the case home. You go to the vertical toolbar and click on tasks. Don't go to my tasks because that'll be your personal task list, whereas this is the case task list. Okay, so on the vertical toolbar, click on tasks, and then you'll click on new, and then the subject you want to type in application denied needs editor review. And then you can choose a deadline. I would say maybe give it to Monday. And then the case participant, it would be the PI. So whoever the PIs, you would click on this drop down and click their name. This is a single person household, so there's only one person. And then you have the options here, assigned to case owner, reserved to me. But what you'll want to do is you'll send it to your supervisor. Okay, so click on assign to, and then actually you don't click on it, just go to the little magnifying glass here. And for training purposes, I'm gonna pretend like Sherry Kerr is my supervisor. So I am going to send it to Sherry. So put in first, last name, click search, and now her name populates up here, and you'll want to click select. And now you'll see that Sherry's name is populated here. Okay, so once that happens, all you do is click save. Okay, so now you'll see that assigned tasks on this particular case, the subject is application denied, needs editor review. The priority is manual, and then assigned owner is Sherry. Okay, so now when Sherry goes into her My Tasks and clicks on it, this task will be in there. So these are ones that you definitely want to pay attention to as a supervisor and editor because these ones still need to be edited. Okay. And then if you're an editor or supervisor, then you will want to follow the instructions that are given in the editor review training. And then I also have the written procedure for what to do to review denied applications, denied worker applications. So that's pretty much it. I mean, make sure that you have a note again. So for this case that we just denied and sent a task to the supervisor, we'll want to go to notes and put a new note. Denial, click on subject, choose denial, and then put in your note. Application denied, set manual task for supervisor Sherry Kerr for editor review. And then at that point, as a worker, you're done. Unless, you know, the editor reviews it and kicks it back to you, which they can do. They can set an auto task. They can set a task and assign it to you, and you would see it under your My Tasks. If there was something that you missed or needed to correct that would actually make them eligible, then you would see that. And so My Tasks is a really important feature in eRep for an individual worker, regardless of whether you're a worker, editor, supervisor, because this is how we're going to communicate back and forth on what needs to happen on cases. Okay, so make sure that you're always checking your My Tasks. So again, you'll want to always create, if you're going to create a task, you'll want to create the task from the case home. If you do click on My Tasks, this will take you to all the tasks that are assigned to you on all of your cases and applications. So if you go to assign tasks, it'll give you a list of all the tasks that you have to take action on. So again, you want to look through each of these. You can see the dates that they were created. It does look like it starts from oldest to newest, and it'll even tell you here on the task age how old they are. So um, every day you want to come in here, maybe first thing in the morning, you want to check my tasks and make sure that you are checking these off. So for this one, I know that I probably don't need to do anything here because it was an eVerif search that was auto done. So you can either reserve it to yourself or you can reserve and close tasks to make it faster. So that's definitely what I want to do to get it off my list. Okay, so it's probably a good goal to get these all cleared out every day if possible. If there's things that you're pending or you can't work on just yet, then you can leave them there, but it is good to work them as quickly as you can, making sure that we're taking action where needed. So different actions for different roles. Workers, you're going to be paying attention to whether your applications get kicked back for corrections. Editors, you're going to be looking for tasks that are created by the worker or the supervisor for you to act on. And then also supervisors, you're going to be looking for tasks that were created by the worker if an application was denied. So just different scenarios for different roles, but this is really important. The tasks is where you will kind of manage your workload. All right. So that is pretty much it. I mean, I've given you scenarios for when a case is eligible and you process benefits, and then also when a case is ineligible and you continue to process benefits, and then what to do up until that point. So hopefully this is helpful processing an application from start to finish.